Ja, genau.
Haben ein bisschen, ja genau, nicht so weich, so richtig. Aber das muss nicht so. Ja, das ist auch, das sieht man jetzt schlecht noch heute, wie das eine heißt.
Hi guys, my name is Bernd Kistenmacher and I'm back now in my studio for another episode of Freak Out Your Synth Compact. In this episode I will show you the latest updates from Arturia for the V Collection 9. The V Collection is best known as a huge collection of fantastic emulations of classic instruments, from synthesizers to best known keyboards, and everything has been delivered in best quality, and they tried to capture the individual sound of the instruments. In my opinion, sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't, but anyway, the quality is always on a high level. And now Arturia is back with V Collection 9, which is available as complete package or as upgrade for your V Collection 8 if you might have it. So let's have a look into the new instruments which has been added, and I will turn the camera now to the screen and we make a short overview about the latest updates. Let's begin. Okay, we are here on the website from Arturia. And yes, I will not show you the website, but I will just show you what new instruments has been added by them. And this is a very interesting combination of new instruments. We will make a closer look to the KORG MS-20, the SQ80, which is already known. This guy has now been integrated into the V Collection. We have two very interesting plugins, Augmented Strings and Augmented Voices. And also they have rebuilt some new or some instruments which were always available in the older versions of the V Collection. There is a new CS80 available, a Prophet 5, a Prophet VS and a Piano V3. And also with the new package you get some sound banks which are available for the several instruments. Okay, so let's close this window, and yes, we are here in Cubase now. I have prepared a little project and I have added the new plugins, and we can try to make I will try to make a short demo of these instruments. This is the MS-20 from KORG. And yes, I have opened a bass sound which is not audible. And why? It is audible. So okay. So interesting here is I will not go into all detail of each synthesizer. This is enough stuff for separate workshops. And but we have here also implemented, this is what I would like to show, a separate effects board. And if you click on this button, you can open the effect section. You can change the parameters here. also very interesting is that you can open the classic KORG sequencer for this plugin. And so on. This is just a short demo, and yes, we have here one thing is very interesting in my opinion, because the MS-20, you know, the synthesizer as a mono synthesizer, and but in this case you can also play it you can play it in a polyphonic way. So I personally never used and owned a KORG MS-20 synthesizer, so I cannot say very much about the sound quality of this plugin. But in my opinion, it's a very dense sound, very crispy, very strong, and yes, I think it's worth to experiment with this synthesizer. I don't know how close it is to the original, but if you work with it as another sound source, you will definitely have your fun with it, and this is maybe more important than being as close as to the original as possible. But it has an individual character, and I think it's definitely a good new addition to the V collection. Okay, so the next plugin is the Augmented Strings plugin from Arturia, and this is also more a classic string machine, but with some interesting options. also in this plugin you have an advanced option. If you open this window, you can see the layers which are part of the sound, and you can change everything of the available parameters. You can balance between both sounds. You can, for example, on this right side we have a loop option, and you can change the start and the end point from that loop, and you can also and so on. So many parameters to change and to edit, and I think this makes this plugin very versatile, because you can experiment with your own sounds. You have also the possibility to control the modulation. You can add an arpeggiator. You can add effects, own effects on each sound, and yes, you can program it in depth, and this is much more than only a plugin which manipulates some string sounds. So it's an interesting option also for sound designers, and definitely worth to work with more in depth. So the next, by the way, just for explanation, what I'm doing here, I'm recording the audio signal in parallel. So we have the original instrument track here from each instrument, and I've also added a bass which makes it possible to record not only the MIDI signal but also the audio signal from the synthesizer itself at the same time. So just for explanation, if you like to know this. The next synthesizer is looking similar as the Augmented Strings plugin. It's the Augmented Voices. advanced button here, the advanced window, we say the similar structure as we could see it in the Augmented Strings plugin. We have two parts, layer A, layer B, and you can edit each part individually by changing some controls here, some parameters, filter settings, envelope settings, and so on. You can control the volume, the pan of each part. Also here you can change the modulation. You can add an arpeggiator, you can add effects and so on. So this is the same concept, and also if you have a master keyboard with the possibility to get access on several controllers at the same time, you can change the parameters here on the main surface, but you can also go deeper into that plugin by controlling any parameter with MIDI CC data. So controlling this whole thing makes it more versatile, and the sound gets more live, and this is very interesting. You can use it for a very interesting sound design things, or you can accompany your main music track by changing a pad sound into some rhythmic thing. And yes, this plugin is called Augmented Voices. You have many other sounds also available here. I don't know any of them, but okay, you change the arpeggio running. Yeah, okay, so and so on. Very nice, a cool thing, and maybe I had the impression that this is a new way Arturia wants to go, a new direction Arturia wants to go, since they have added so many plugins of really existing synthesizers and keyboards. They want to go maybe into another direction, and with Augmented Voices and Augmented Strings, they are on a good way, I think. So the next plugin is of course the CS80, and yes, I think it's very, very close to the original. Yes, this is a classic synthesizer which was always existing in the V collection. You could buy it also as a separate instrument. They have added new sounds and new options, and you have also here the advanced window for deeper control of your parameters. They have also added an advanced window for access to more parameters of the synthesizer. You can influence the behavior in the modulation part, on the keyboard sector, and in the effects part. And yes, what else is to say? The number of presets is really really huge, and I don't know what else you can do with this thing. It sounds absolutely fantastic, and okay, so a polyphonic synthesizer at its best, and I think you will have fun working with it. But yes, this is not new. This is always part of the V collection, also from the older versions, and still worth to check out. What I liked was a little detail. You can, I imagine that you could do it in earlier versions too, but you can definitely change the size of the window, so you can also see what you are doing here, and it's maybe a little bit easier if you have a large screen. So okay, this is this one, and the next one is the SQ80, the emulation of the SQ80. This synthesizer, I had presented it in a separate video when it came out. It's now part of the V collection, and I think it has its own sound character, definitely, and is very close to the original. And the interesting thing is that this synthesizer sounds very warm. It is a digital synthesizer, definitely, but you have this warm character in the sound, and this is what I like very much. And yes, this synthesizer has also enough parameters to control. You get access here on a separate page. You can edit the effects, and yes, it is sometimes I think there are plugins available which are sounding somehow better than the original. Yes, let's discuss about that, but I think it's very cool to do. The next instrument is also a classic from the past, and this is the Prophet 5 synthesizer from Sequential. can I say to the synthesizer? If you have the original, you will say, okay, this is not close enough. I think it has very, it sounds particular, very close to the original synthesizer. Since Sequential has released the Prophet 5 and 10 Rev 4, you have access to all filter models which were built into the Prophet synthesizers over the time. You have, if I see it correctly, you have not the chance to change the filter. So it has one character, and yes, you must work with modulation to bring a lot of life into the sound. You can see it here by turning the modulation. Yeah, okay. So I think it's a nice emulation of an analog synthesizer, not more, not less. You can do the same what you can do with the original, and yes, maybe if you want to capture your sequential sound in your production, you will be absolutely happy with that, and you must not buy the original one. I don't know. Having the original is always better. This is my opinion. But if this is not possible for you, check definitely out what this plugin can do for you. And I think it's okay. It's definitely okay. I'm happy with that. So next is the Prophet VS, also another classic synthesizer. VS stands for vector synthesis, and means that your sound is part of 4 separate sounds which can be mixed together with a joystick field or modulation field. You can program a pass. And this is really a fantastic plugin. It sounds amazing. I love this plugin because yes, it has its own character. It you have so many options to try out. You can you have fun working with it, and the sound is fantastic, and this is the most important thing. Yes, it's fantastic. I don't know what to say about it. You must definitely try it out, and I think Arturia, this is a job you have very good done, and thank you for having this. This is great. Yes, and this is the last plugin I would like to show. It makes definitely sense if you are a piano player. This is the V Piano 3, and also this is sounding very good. I'm not sure if it is it delivers copies of original pianos, but maybe it is something on its own. It has its own character, and you can also control here enough parameters to create your own piano sound, if you like to say. I think it's a nice instrument, and yes, you can work with that for your productions, definitely. So yes, why not using a piano from time to time? This was my short overview about the V Collection 9 from Arturia. Every single plugin that has been added now is worth watching more in detail than I could do it in this short overview. There's so much to learn, there's so much to discover, and you can create your own sound design, a thing that you definitely should do with every plugin that you own. And you can, of course, you can try to come as close as possible to the original sound of the original instrument, but it's more worth to create own sounds, to make your own sound design. The plugins give you the possibilities. You can program them in detail. You can control them with so many hardware controllers, and you can make the sound really vibrant and vital. And this is a good basis for creation of own sounds and making good songs, maybe. But anyway, whatever you do with it, you will definitely be happy. I am, and I think we are now in version 9 of the V Collection. I'm sure Arturia will add some more new possibilities in future. The augmented strings, augmented voices idea gives me a new direction. I can imagine that there will happen much more in this direction in future. But anyway, this as it is now makes me very happy. The only negative point is that they still have not integrated the Pigments plugin. This is a synthesizer which I love very much. Arturia will have its own reasons for doing that, but besides the V Collection, you should still check out this plugin too. It's worth experimenting and working with it. So that was my short video, Freak Out Your Synth Compact. If you like it, give me a thumb up, and subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to do this, please. And we see us in the next episode of Freak Out Your Synth. Goodbye.